Good evening. And it is so good to be with you this evening for our Tenebrae service. I want to welcome all of you who are here either in person and those of you who are joining us online. With me this evening in this service are our Director of Lifespan, Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrall, our choir director, Aubrey, Connelly-Candelario, and worship team exec, Melissa Baker. We also have Max Beck in the background working to provide tech support to ensure that we come together on this Good Friday. I also want to thank the welcome team members who are here tonight to make sure that we are taken care of. So Tenebrae, the word is Latin for darkness, and is a Western Christianity religious service held during the 3 days preceding Easter. And it's characterized by gradual extinguishing of candles and by a loud noise taking place in total darkness, or for us, as close as we can get to that, at the end of the service. It is to be a somber service marked by grief and sorrow. And in our service this evening, I will start by lighting the candles you see here, and we will extinguish them one by one during the service.
The Story of Tenebrae Weekend, as written by Reverend Howard N. Dana. It has been a tumultuous few days filled with highs and lows. You were there in the crowd when Jesus rode into Jerusalem earlier this week. There were some of your own palm branches. You and your neighbors waved at him to welcome him. There was such excitement in the crowd, such hope and anticipation. Here was the great teacher and prophet riding into the city, riding up to the temple. Here was the one whose very presence could heal people. Here was the Jewish leader that called for freedom from oppression. You have lived in Jerusalem many years, and you have seen how it has changed.
At first, the Roman governors let the Jewish people live in relative peace. But then the tax collectors wanted more and more money to send to Caesar. Then there was less and less freedom of movement. There was less and less freedom of expression, less freedom of worship. Some of the religious leaders got caught up in trying to appease the Roman authorities. But uprising after uprising hardened Caesar's heart toward Jerusalem. Prophet after prophet was put to death. Now Jerusalem is a wreck of its former self. The city is gripped with fear and racked with grief. A huge ring of crucifixes circles the Temple Mount, each marked with the blood of a martyr. The glorious golden city reeks of carnage. It reeks of greed. It reeks of war. To see Jesus come up to Jerusalem from Galilee was almost too good to be true. Here was a Jew bringing a message of hope and freedom to his fellow Jews. Here was a leader unlike the others, not a warrior, but a peacemaker.
But now you have heard that he too has been captured. Now you have heard that he too is in the hands of the Roman guards. Last night, on your way home, you were crossing the courtyard when you ran into Roman soldiers searching for the disciples who were traveling with Jesus.
The soldiers were asking people where these disciples were hiding. They were accusing people of being with Jesus, and these frightened people were denying it.
Would they all be arrested eventually and put to death, you wondered? How far would Pontius Pilate go to put down his latest threat to his power? How many more would need to die this Passover season to appease Rome? And then today you heard stories of Jesus being mocked by Roman guards. Some say that Herod himself wanted to see Jesus at his palace, but this seems unbelievable. You know that no good can ever come of being in the custody of the Romans. You know their brutal tactics. So it does not surprise you that the final decision was that Jesus should be crucified. They had crucified hundreds of activists before him, so why not him too?
But this time, it feels different. This time, it feels more significant. This time, it feels as if a truly holy man is being put to death. It feels as if hope itself will hang upon the cross.
You know how Jesus' life will end. You have seen it before.
The guards will make him carry the arm beam of his cross through the streets. They will force his already whipped body to climb a hill outside the city walls. There, among the rats and the vultures, they will nail him up and leave him to die in agony. Sometimes the death is quick. Sometimes a strong man might live a day or two. They will station a centurion nearby to be sure Jesus does not receive help from fellow Jews. Those men who followed him to Jerusalem will remain in hiding, fearing the same. And when it is over, one more Jewish rabble-rouser will be dead. When it is over, Jerusalem will trudge through another day of its war-soaked life.
But you decide you need to see this terrible thing for yourself. You decide you are going to be in the crowd as Jesus carries his cross, just as you were in the crowd when he went by in glory on Palm Sunday. You will follow him as far as you can. You might even leave the city walls and see where they take him. Though you know there is nothing to be done about his fate, you decide that Jesus should not die alone. He should have at least a few believers nearby. This tragedy must have witnesses. You decide you can bear the pain and sorrow, so you follow. Nothing that happens surprises you. It is just as bad as you thought it would be. But there are some women around, fairly near the foot of the cross. You think you see Jesus' mother there. If she can stand it, so can you. So you wait. You watch. You hold your breath. You offer a prayer. You cry a little. You rage. You see it through to the end.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbors running faster than you, breath bloody in their throats. The boy you went to school with who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one leaves home unless home chases you, fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought of doing unless the blade burnt threats into your throat. Even when you carried the anthem under your breath, only tearing up your passport in an airport toilet, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you wouldn't be going back. You have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one burns their palms under trains, beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled means something more than journey. No one crawls under fences. No one stands. No one wants to be beaten, pitied. No one chooses refugee camps or strip search where your body is left aching, or prison, because prison is safer than a city of fire. And one prison guard in the night is better than a truckload of men who look like your father. No one could take it. No one could stomach it. No one's skin would be tough enough. Go home, blacks, refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, sucking our country dry. Niggers with their hands out. They smell strange, savage, messed up their country, and now they want to mess up ours. How do the words, the dirty looks, roll off your backs? Maybe because the blow is softer than a limb torn off, or the words are more tender than 14 men between your legs, or the insults are easier to swallow than bone, than your child's body in pieces. I want to go home, but home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of a gun. No one leaves home unless home chased you to the shore, unless home told you to quicken your legs, leave your clothes behind, crawl through the desert, wade through the oceans, drowned, save, be hunger, beg, forget pride. Your survival is more important. No one leaves home until home is a sweaty voice in your ear saying, leave, run away from me now. I don't know what I've become, but I know that anywhere is safer than here. Worcestershire.
Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the tree?
The truth is, I've never cared for the national anthem. If you think about it, it's not a good song. Too high for most of us with the rocket's red glare. And then there are the bombs. Always, always, there is war and bombs. Once, I sang it at homecoming and threw even the tenacious high school band off key. But the song didn't mean anything, just a call to the field, something to get through before the pummeling of youth. And what of the stanzas we never sing, the third that mentions, no refuge could save the hireling and the slave? Perhaps the truth is, every song of this country has an unsung third stanza, something brutal snaking underneath us as we blindly sing the high notes with a beer sloshing in the stands, hoping our team wins. Don't get me wrong, I do like the flag, how it undulates in the wind like water. Elemental, and best when it's humbled, brought to its knees, clung to by someone who has lost everything, when it's not a weapon, when it flickers, when it folds up so perfectly you can keep it until it's needed, until you can love it again. Until the song in your mouth feels like sustenance. A song where the notes are sung by even the ageless woods, the short grass plains, the Red River Gorge, the fistful of land left unpoisoned, that song that's our birthright, that's sung in silence when it's too hard to go on, that sounds like someone's rough fingers weaving into another's, that sounds like a match being lit in an endless cave. The song that says, my bones are your bones, and your bones are my bones. And isn't that enough? Ada Limon.
Were you there when they pierced him in his side? Were you there when they pierced him in his side? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they pierced him in his side?
Dear trans, non-binary, genderqueer, and gender-expansive friends and kin, and those of us whose gender is survival. Let me explain. No, there's too much. Let me sum up. You are not hard to love and respect. Your existence is a blessing. Your pronouns are not a burden or a trial. They are part of your name, just shorter. Someone getting them wrong is not a poor reflection on you. It is not your fault. Your body, really and truly, belongs to you, no one else. The stories of your body, the names of your body parts, your body's privacy, the sum of your body's glory, it is not okay for anyone to press their story of you back to the beginning of your or our liberation. We will find the people ready to be on the freedom for the people way. We will go on. No one can rename you other. It can't stick as you offer a gift of being and saying who you are. Mostly, though, your stories belong to you. Your joy and complexity is beautiful, however you may choose to tell it or not tell it. Some folks, sis, may take their liberty for an unholy license. You are beloved. Please keep to our shared tasks of healing, getting free. Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto.
Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble. Tremble, tremble. Were you there when the sun refused to shine?
Rebuilding starts with weeping, with tears that fall like rain, with full and honest grieving for years of loss and pain, for suffering and sorrow that never had to be. Rebuilding starts with weeping for all who are not free. Rebuilding starts with praying, with hopes allowed a voice, with vision for our country, with reason to rejoice. We offer up our spirits, our hearts and minds and hands. Rebuilding starts with praying for strength to heal our land. Rebuilding starts with loving, with care for every soul, with yearning and compassion that all may yet be whole, that enemy and neighbor may know a better day. Rebuilding starts with loving, for love will show the way. Armin Udis Kessler.
there when the stars began to cry? Were you there when the stars began to cry? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when the stars began to cry?
Don't forget to mourn properly, the way you don't want anyone to see wailing, thrashing, heaving, with each breath releasing, purging. Mourn. Mourn all that you have lost, who you have lost, both in passing over and through, leaving behind an emptiness that draws up and squeezes heartily. Mourn with no regard to place or time, feeling deeply the etching of each second across bare skin, leaving behind canyons to fill. Mourn until eyes bleary and aching strain to see. Mourn until your chest clenches and breath eases. Mourn until your spirit sighs with relief, settles, and snores. Mourn.
Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they laid him in the tomb?
The last reading was by Reverend Karen Bell. This next reading will be our last reading of the night, beloveds. And after we extinguish the last chalice, we are all invited to make some sort of sound, whether it's wailing or screaming or stomping your feet, banging books, hymnals that you have in front of you together. You can make your sound whether you're sitting, if it's easier for you, or you can stand as you do so. It's a way for us to let go, releasing some of pent-up energy, maybe sadness, rage, anger that we may be holding. And I also want to say, for those of you who joined us online, thank you for joining us, and please join us in the wailing at home or wherever you are joining us. And we're ending with a meditative prayer by the Reverend Seely Katovich. Close your eyes if that feels right for you, or keep them at a soft gaze in front of you. Spirit of life and death, thou who art as present to us in our suffering as in our well-being, abide with us in this permeable time between dusk and dark. Soothe the secret pains we carry. Bless us with the courage to move toward our grief and not away. When all is hidden, when we find ourselves moving among the shadows, when we do not know the way, quiet our hearts, still our restlessness. Help us to embrace the unknown, to hold the mystery, and let ourselves be held by it. For thou art the great hiddenness, and yet we know that our breath is not so close to us as thy presence. Abide with us, O Spirit of compassion, as the power of healing, the assurance of peace, the love that will not let us go.